and welcome. I think we're about ready to get started here. We have a very exciting talk story this evening with our very dear friend, Chef Sheldon Simeon. And I'm excited to have a special guest with me today, and I'll let her open up the show.
Aloha and welcome to our talk story with Chef Sheldon. I've known Chef since I was born. You could call me a super fan. I'll be back, but I'm going to pass the show to my mom.
Thanks, Eleanor. Everyone, if you don't know her, Eleanor Noguchi is my husband, Chef Mark Noguchi, and I's Hi'apo, our first daughter. She's almost 8 years old, and she has been a great helper in the kitchen. And as she said, a super fan of Chef Sheldon since she was born. So he knows a lot about cooking many of her favorite foods. So I'm very excited to bring Chef here to you today. I don't think he needs much of an introduction, but I will give you just a brief one. Sheldon not only is one of the most talented chefs that I know, he's also been a mentor and a leader in our culinary world since he started his career. And one of the things that I really appreciate about him is how inclusive he is in everything that he does. He stays humble. He cooks from his heart. He is a family guy and continues to put family first, which is very hard in this industry. And luckily for all of us, he took some time and a lot of heart and thought to put together this beautiful cookbook. And I am assuming that many of you already own this cookbook. But if you don't, Sheldon, can you give us a little tip on where we can pick up this cookbook if we don't already have it?
Yeah, well, you can pick it up from our website, tinroofmaui.com, which is currently 100% of the proceeds goes back to the Maui Food Bank. So we're proud about that. We're about $30,000 to them. But you can also find it at all different retailers. Barnes and Nobles, you do a Costco run on the weekend, it's probably in there too. Amazon, all over the place. But mahalo if you did pick up a book already. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it.
And we have lots of questions. People, as soon as they saw we were hosting this talk story, they started reaching out with me with questions that they wanted to ask you. But I know you're like my husband. So before I start bombarding you with questions from the crowd, we're going to let you get into your comfortable space and cook something for us. And I think what you have for us today is the Noguchi girls, they would tell you that their favorite dish is saimin. And what Chef is going to be cooking for us today is close to that. So he's doing a dry min for us. You can find it in his cookbook. And I'm going to turn it over to you so you can give us your insider tips. You make it look easy and it looks so beautiful in the cookbook. But I think that watching you cook it will probably give us some tips of how our food can start to look like your food, which it's beautiful here. So if you all want to cook along and you have the cookbook, it's page 187 is where we're at. So we'll turn it over you to Chef. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here. And I'm excited to share this recipe. Dry min. This is exactly like saimin, but this is very something that is like dear to Maui. This beautiful restaurant that was one of the staples of our Maui community, San Sato's, that their dry min noodle is what everyone kind of bases that upon. But it's just pretty much saimin noodles, kind of stir fried together with some local ingredients, some things that you see, and then the broth. The dashi is served on the side. And this is a simple, I'm going to show you guys how simple this is. A lot of times it just takes a little bit of planning, some organization to get you to the point to be successful. So I'm going to start off. I have some fresh semi-dried saimin noodles. These are from our friends at Some Noodle. If you guys don't know Some Noodle, they pretty much supply all the saimin and ramen noodles throughout the whole world. Even in there's ramen shops in France that they that they supply. So I got some of that. We're gonna put some char siu in the recipe in the book. We have spam, whatever type of meat that you have. You can use ground pork if you have it. You can use a little bit of some ham, or you can use some pork shoulder. I just have some char siu that I picked up at a Fuchs earlier today, the Oda Fuchs. So did that. Chopped up some kamaboko. Kamaboko is our name in Hawaii for fish cake. I made some omelet threads. Basically took some scrambled eggs, cooked it slow in a very, very thin layer in a non-stick frying pan, and then chopped it up. We have some bean sprouts and some garlic, shoyu, some oyster sauce. But first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cook our noodles. Our noodles gonna take only like a minute, 52 minutes to do. And then we'll put everything together. This is not really a stir-fry dish. It's pretty much just get the noodles cooked and then we get it seasoned. So fresh noodles right into a boiling, super boiling water. Make sure your water is boiling. A series, start timer to 2 minutes. Something like that. How about that? That much time. Here's a trick that we're gonna do. When the noodles is boiling like this, I always love small little tricks like this where you can kind of cook dishes efficient. You know, being those of you who are parents who work all day, that come home, you got to think of ways to make it fun and make it simple for you. So instead of having to blanch the noodles, we're gonna just put them into a colander like that. So when the noodles come out of there, we're gonna pour it right over, and that's gonna blanch it perfect. Right here. What's next? I like to cook in non-stick pans. Not on fancy wok. Woks are amazing too, but a lot of times you need a stove that can handle that. If you only own saute pan at home, just get the saute pan. I like this big non-stick ones. It works. Use what you get.
You're making me jealous over here. Luckily, I've got a chef in the house. Maybe I can get him to whip some up. But so just to recap here, this meal, you just made it in under 6 minutes. It looks
Yeah.
beautiful. And it looks like there's a pretty good serving amount. I mean, you think you could feed 6 people, 8 people with what's in your pan there?
Yeah, for sure. 4 to 6 healthy portions in here. And very simple. A lot of the items was already like pre-cooked and bought. You just gotta bust out your knives and show off your knife skills a little bit, and just pretty much get it together. Boil some water and put it in the pan.
And probably total cost. I mean, what would we even add this up to here for total cost to make this dish?
Yeah, total cost. I'm thinking this is under $20 for everything. You know, just like fresh noodles. You're probably like at $8 to $10. Then a little bit of char siu, or you can even delete the meat if you didn't want to. So fish cake, couple dollars there. You don't really need even to serve the dashi if you don't want dashi on the side. This can easily be a big old pan that you could take to a potluck and top it off with these things. So
And then for our veggie lovers, they could add in more veggies if they wanted, right? They could add in
more
bok
veggies.
choy
I'll get some
or-
firm tofu that you cut into some medallions, stir fry that up. That'd be delicious. Yeah, you could use some mushrooms, some shiitake mushrooms, alii mushrooms inside there. That'd be amazing also. Very, very simple. I love it. Noodles is an amazing, like, I grew up eating Simon noodle as my breakfast. It's like I was so lucky that I would go over to a friend's house once in a very while, you know, like, and be able to eat cereal in the morning. I would eat Simon in every single way. It was kind of like my first foray into becoming a chef, right? Like everybody growing up in Hawaii get their way of making their own Simon noodle. Now, whether you put black pepper or if you add your egg and then you scramble it. Some people like to leave their egg whole in it. I think you guys can all discuss out there that everyone has their style of what they like make, how they make their saimin.
Yeah, this is special kind. So for our girls, they wished that they were eating dry min for breakfast every morning. And this is like,
Yeah.
if we have saimin the night before, perhaps they might be lucky and get their scrambled egg in the morning. You know, we have a few chickens at our house, so we're lucky to have eggs
Mhm.
over here. And half the time, because no more nothing, they just get scrambled egg and that's all they're getting for breakfast. But when they get to have dry min with breakfast, it's like the extra fancy dad meal if they're getting dry min or, you know, saimin for breakfast in the morning time. But I love this dish. One of the things that we really love in our house and to share it out with our community as people who feel that it's important for us to cook for our kids. And cooking doesn't mean you have to be in the kitchen for 3 hours. Our generation, mom and dad are both working, right? And we still want our kids to see us cooking for them. And this is one of those dishes that checks all those boxes for me. They see us cooking, we're supporting our
That's
local
it.
farmers, our local noodles, we're making something, but it's not taking us all day and night to make. And
Yeah.
and it's kind of for everybody. Everybody enjoys it. A little bit extra mustard for mom, a little bit extra tofu for Eleanor, and everybody's happy in the mix. But this brings me,
Yeah.
Sheldon, to a question that came up. Somebody that sent to me said, all of us here in the 808, we think our food is superior. I think that's a shared commonality. We might disagree on a lot of things, but I think everyone here feels that our food is superior. How do we explain to outsiders, to our visitors, to our family that live on the continent? How do we
Yeah.
explain to them what makes our food so special?
Well, first of all, you know, like we're the most isolated landmass in the world, you know, like we're miles and hundreds of miles from anything else. So whatever food that is here had to travel here from far places. That alone is just amazing to me to just think of it, of like how the cultures and all of the food came here. They had to take this journey. We had an amazing host culture that respected our land. And at first, right, the Hawaiians said it first and foremost for us, of like the ingredients and taking care of the ingredients. We have the most amazing soil, the most amazing weather for our ingredients. And then what comes in after that is all these different cultures that brought with them their food and their cultures. And somehow everybody lived in their communities, they kind of all and blend together seamlessly to make the food that we have here in Hawaii. It was not forced. It was not somebody thinking that I want to be creative and blend all these different flavors together. It's everybody having to share what they had in front of them, and it all kind of glued together, and it made the food of Hawaii. That's what's amazing about it.
We have some other questions. The little Noguchi, they're just eating all the stuff Mark's cooking in the kitchen. So they've left me to run the show by myself. But one of the questions that came from an audience member was, we know you're cranking a tin roof. Every single time we're on Maui, we wait in the line in the parking lot to pick up our lunch. I have crazy clients that insist that I fly home with your food. So I like pack my little cooler and I put it on ice and I'm flying back to Oahu with your plate lunches, and I'm giving it to them and they're warming it up 24 hours later and they're still like saying like, this is the best food I've eaten all month long. So is there anything in the future? Is there things we should know about that's going on?
Yeah. Well, that's I kind of mahalo our community and everybody, locals, visitors alike. Anybody who has ever stepped foot in Tin Roof or has eaten our food, like sincerely, mahalos. You know, we're stoked that it was a spot that already fed the community for 25 years. In Koko Ichibanya and the Komai family, like we were just blessed to be able to continue that legacy that they put forth for us. And Tin Roof, it's been 5 years now since we opened, and some change. You know, it was out of the whim that we got this opportunity, this phone call. We've put every single dime of our savings to open it up on the day of. We can read that we had less than $1 to our name in our bank. So to be here where we at 5 years later is truly a blessing. We just had some the architects in our in our restaurant yesterday, measuring things out, getting it all dialed in, and will be expanding in our location come next year. We put together tin roof with friends and family, you know, and we had guys, our friends came out to paint, our friends came out to put up the drywall and stainless steel. And it's done well for us in this 5 years, but come next April, we'll be making it brand new and shiny again and a lot more efficient so that we can serve more people more efficiently. And we can expand to do a lot more cool stuff. So we're excited for that. Maybe hopefully do a couple more hours. You know, we can bring in more staff, give people some more jobs. But yeah, we're excited to have that. We love our little area down on Derry Road. We love our neighbors. You know, we go get coffee pretty much every day from Maui Coffee Roasters. We get our haircut at O'Carney's over there, and we get our safety check from Auto Trends and our alternators fix brother Ruben next door. It's a beautiful community that we have over there at the dairy center.
Yeah, my staff loves when we're flying over to Maui for events that they can pick up their print job. That's their excuse to come to Tin Roof, right? They can pick up their printing that they do in the shopping center. You're right by the airport, by the car rental company. And that's what makes it very, very easy for us to agree to pack home things from Maui to Oahu. If you're all the way on the other side, you know, the traffic and all things, I don't know if I'd agree to it, but we're still here by the airport. And so you brought up visitors. And I think that's always the beautiful thing I see when I'm at Tin Roof is both you and Janice and all your staff, you know, you serve everybody, you treat everybody the same with aloha when they are there. And I think that perhaps the way that you treat them when they arrive, my hope is that continues with them during their stay on Maui, and they take that aloha that you give to them, because really, you know, we all feel you have to earn it. It's not a one-way street. It goes both ways. And so we hope that you showing that to them, that they carry that with them. But is there anything for our visitors that you hope that they know, like when they're coming to Hawaii, the things for them, if you got to be the guy who gave them the like on airplane PSA when they were landing, what would you tell our visitors? And I mean, it can be specific to food, but I think this is a hot topic. Roger and I have talked about it for Hawaii Book and Music Festival. They're essentially, what they've been doing is programming, is shining light on our local culture, on all these talented artists that we have here. And what is your message for our visitors as they're coming here?
This is one of those heavy loaded discussions that we can go on for hours and, you know, and do it. But I think a lot of things, like we look at this COVID, you know, when we got COVID, you know, there was a moment in time when we didn't have any visitors. You know, our islands had a little bit of a break. It's pretty amazing, actually. Just like, I'm gonna be straight up, that we did enjoy it, you know, as a local that lived there all our lives. You know, we got to see a glimpse of old Hawaii, you know, our reefs and our roadways and our forests and everything that bears this, not just burden, but, you know, everything's the demand of what our islands has to accommodate and to welcome our visitors. It's a lot that takes on, and we got to see what it is to take care of our neighbors and our community on top of each other. And it's actually pretty rad. But where am I going with this? I think first and foremost is going back to what it took to get here in Hawaii. and the Hawaiians who established the idea of what it is to love this paradise that we call Hawaii. These guys set forth that you take care of, you take care of our land, it's gonna take care of you. You come here, you better abide by that. All of these cultures that came after the Hawaiians had to abide by that rule, and we still continue to do that. Is that you better respect our aina because it's gonna take care of you. And I hope that when visitors come, that they don't take it for granted that they only take from here. Is that they reciprocate and they give back also in a heartfelt way, not to the point, not where they feel that they're privileged because of them spending their money here. They should be a privilege and they should be thankful that they are able to come to Hawaii and experience it all. So aloha goes both ways. Simple as that. We were so pounded into that tourism was the only way, it's like tourism is king, that we have to bend over and backwards a little bit to accommodate everybody. But we found out during the COVID pandemic that we can take care of our community, and you guys just should be lucky and be very thankful that you get to come to Hawaii. So treat it like how the Hawaiians did. Respect our land, and because it's everything, it gives back to us.
Okay, with a lighter question, and we want to sit in the boss. She wants to sit in the boss chair, so I'm going to switch her out here so she can
Okay.
sit it. But for those who know, this is our youngest, Aki-chan, and Aki, what is your question for Uncle Sheldon?
What's your favorite food to cook all as a family?
My favorite food to cook. I know it's simple, but because everybody always do this. Steak and rice with onions. We eat that all the time. But like a perfectly cooked New York steak or ribeye steak. Everyone has their own doneness. So I gotta cook steaks to rare for me, to medium and medium well. I like the challenge of hitting the perfect doneness of steaks for everyone in my family. But we like that. We love eating steak and rice with shoyu and onions.